there's a police presence, but they're there to direct people, really. You know, there's never any trouble whatsoever. I mean, can you imagine a Scotland-England football match where they just sat next to each other or made their own way at the ground? It just doesn't happen, does it? You know, there'd be absolute hell on.
Hello. Welcome back to another episode of the podcast Chatzzz, and we've got a very, very special guest today. Scott, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you.
Managed to get you here against your own will.
Against my will, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
sounds about right.
Tried to get one a few times, and I basically just ambushed you.
Ambushed me today.
So, if you would introduce yourself for the first time to the viewers, listeners, what would you say? Who you are? What you do?
I would say I'm Scott. I run a watch business. I was born in Belgium, and I'm a rugby and fishing fanatic.
So there you technically 3 facts.
That's with 10 3 facts.
Okay. Born in Belgium,
So my dad was in the army. Mm-hmm. So he was out there at the time in Shape, which is the American base. Mm-hmm. So yeah, he was in the army, and we moved all around the world. Mm-hmm. As a kid, I was all over the place. You know?
Mm-hmm. Where else did you go when you were kids?
Mostly Germany, Hong Kong, Cyprus, obviously UK. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then you love fishing as well, because you went fishing last week, did you say?
Yeah, I fish lots.
You go all around Europe as well, then?
Yeah, we go to Slovenia, fishing out there. We've been out to Ireland this year. So yeah, we get around the country as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then, so when you were growing up, what was that like, travelling around the countries and stuff like that?
It was all right. When you're a kid, you don't know any different, do you? Mm. You know? And we moved house from the country every 2 years.
Well,
yeah. But when you're growing up like that, it doesn't, you just move.
Yeah.
It doesn't really affect you. It's just, that's it. You just move.
You just get on with it.
Yeah.
And then, so when you were growing up, were you mixing with different kids? Did you ever set amount of friends, or how did that kind of work? Because I suppose I had one army friend who's pensioned in the army, and he lived in Jordan, I think. But he went to boarding school. Yeah. So he had a different experience. So you actually travelled around?
I travelled around till I was 11 years old. Right. And then my dad got a special posting out to Saudi Arabia. Mm-hmm. On like what they call a loan service. So basically the British Army hired him out to train their army. That makes sense. So when he went out there, I actually went to boarding school. So I went to boarding school in Lancaster from the age of 11.
Okay. Did you go to Saudi Arabia?
Yeah. Went to Saudi a few times. Yeah, I used to go out there.
What was that like? Because these days, I think Saudi Arabia is like an up-and-coming place, because there's lots of events going on over there. Yeah. Stuff, football and stuff like that.
It was a weird place, to be honest. I mean, I'm going back to 1991, that type of time, and you couldn't do anything, to be honest. Right. There was nothing to do. You know, we obviously lived in the compound, so we had our own swimming pool and such like. But you know, there was literally nothing else to do. It was so strict, so it was then that, you know, even when we used to go out to the supermarkets or shopping or whatever, my mum would have to wear, you know, a gown, and,
really?
You know, yeah, not a headgear or everything, but she had to wear like a gown and everything and cover it.
No skin or anything?
No skin, you know. Yeah, I mean, hands, but not feet. Yeah, it was weird, but it was always a kid, because the good thing about it as a kid was there was what you call souks, which is just basically like big marketplaces. So you would have so you get all the fake gear out there and all the,
okay.
You know what I mean, all the cassettes as they were then, so you get, you know, like £2 or something for a cassette. So you get all. So I used to take orders at school from the lads and come back with like 50 or 60 cassettes and sell them for like £3 or £4 a piece or something. You know what I mean?
That's sort of entrepreneurial.
Yeah. And so things like that. Yeah.
That's quite cool. And then, so going to boarding school, is that where you started to play rugby? Or?
Yeah. Well, I played rugby from about the age of 7, to be honest, because my dad was a big rugby player. Mm-hmm. So I played from a young age. And then obviously went to boarding school, and that was like the number one sport. Mm. So yeah, I played all the way through school as well. Mm.
Were you always like biggest kid?
Yeah, I was always up there. There wasn't many taller, which helped. Yeah, but yeah, you're always within a half inch of the next big. You know what I mean? It wasn't many people bigger.
Because I played football pretty much all throughout, but then when I went to secondary school, I played a lot of rugby, and it's a different kind of vibe. It's more, I don't know, you're more as a team, you do more social things, don't you?
Yeah.
I think it's more of a team sport as well, rather than football, because you can have a couple of good individuals in football that can win you the game or save the game and that kind of thing. Whereas rugby, if you got 15 players on the pitch and you got one weak link, they'll get literally terrorised, or they'll get singled out, and then it'll be 70-0 or 50-0 or 30-0 or something like that.
Yeah, it is a different game. Obviously, it's a sport for all shapes and sizes, isn't it? But that's the difference, I think. So you know, it doesn't matter if you're a little fat lad or a big tall lad. You know, you can still play rugby. But yeah, it is. It's a slightly, for me, when I watch professional football and professional rugby, I think there's a lot more respect in rugby than there is in football. You know, like, we can't have a go with the referee and just send us off. You know, you see footballers shouting and screaming and swearing, and it's a completely different game. Completely different.
Yeah, even I went to a rugby league game the other week to watch Wigan versus St Helens.
Yeah.
Because I've been to watch a few rugby union, like Newcastle Falcons and England and Twickenham, but I've never been to rugby league. And it's even like at the end of the game, the way they're all like shaking hands or like friendly. And even the opposition fans can sit in the same stands.
Yeah, they sit in the same stands. I mean, you know, you go down to any of the international stadiums, but you know, you go to Murrayfield, say. Obviously, I go up to and watch England play Scotland a lot. They don't separate the fans. There's a police presence, but they're there to direct people. Right? You know, there's never any trouble whatsoever. I mean, can you imagine a Scotland-England football match where they just sat next to each other or made their own way at the ground? It just doesn't happen, does it? You know, there'd be absolute hell on. But yeah, I've never seen any trouble at rugby match whatsoever.
And you're allowed to drink beer in the stands as well.
Yeah. You're not allowed to football.
No.
You're
literally only allowed to have it in the bars.
Yeah.
And I don't think you're allowed it at half time.
Right.
I think. But I don't know. Yeah, it's a completely different experience. It's crazy.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. You can drink where you want.
Right. So then going throughout school then, did you want to be a rugby player, or did you have any job?
No, I mean, back then it wasn't such thing as professional rugby. I mean, I wasn't good enough anyway. But you know, rugby then was an amateur sport, and up to, I'm trying to think I can't remember what year it became professional. I think it was around about 95 or 99, maybe 95. It became professional.
Only 95?
Yeah, it was only 95. Might have been a bit later. But yeah, you couldn't. I mean, you didn't pursue a career in rugby then. Even the lads that played for England, they all had jobs.
Okay.
But when I left school, I didn't know what I wanted to do. I bobbed about for a bit, worked a few jobs. First, I used to work at my uncle's scrapyard for a while, and I spent a few years in the civil service. And this is down in Sunderland, actually. And then I moved up to Carlisle, and then I started my own business. So that was 25 years ago.
What was the first business?
First business was flooring business, wood flooring.
What made you start that then?
It was just funny because, I'd done other stuff. I'd done properties up and things while I was working. But my first actual business was the flooring. Basically, I moved up here, I bought a barn, and I was looking for some oak flooring for it. And I found some and kind of just hit a niche. Nobody was selling it. And nobody was fitting it. Nobody would dare fit it. So I did a couple, and I just kind of grew and grew from there, to be honest.
Did you always want to have your own business then? Or
I've always wanted to. Yeah, ever since a kid, I wanted to have my own business.
So buying the cassettes and selling them?
Yeah, I suppose so. And I always envisaged myself having a job and then a few properties. I didn't really envisage myself having a business as well.
Okay.
But it was kind of forced on me when I came up here because I didn't have a job, so I had to do something. And it just kind of snowballed from there, really.
Did you ever sell anything else at school apart from cassettes?
Zippo lighters, I used to get them from Saudi.
You used to get what?
Zippo lighters, remember that?
Oh yeah, Zippo lighters. Yeah.
And I used to rent out, you'll not remember that. ZX Spectrum games.
What's that?
So ZX Spectrum was like a computer. And you used to get the games on a cassette. So yeah, I used to have loads of games, and I used to rent them out on like 20 pence a night to lads and stuff like that.
A bit like Blockbuster back in the day, but for games and you do it.
Yeah, exactly like that. Yeah, nobody did it, but I just used to wander around school with my briefcase full of games and read them out.
Is that like illegal at school? Or?
No.
Yeah, that's what you do though, because I remember when I was at school, I used to draw footballers when I was at primary school and sell them.
Yeah.
And then make little paper phones and sell them,
Right.
like 2p. And then remember the Live Strong Beat Bullying, them kind of
thingy bands.
Yeah, them kind of bands at school. I used to get my dad to buy them in bulk and then sell them. And then at school, obviously, sell like Lucasades. Because I didn't like selling the sweets because you'd buy them for like Chewits, say 7 for £1.
Yeah.
And you'd sell them for like 50p. So you're making like, what, £2.50 profit. But I was like, buy a Lucasade for 39p, sell it for £1, making 61p per Lucasade. It's high margins.
That's the way to do it, isn't it?
But I didn't think of it in that way at the time. I just thought it's like it's more money kind of thing. And then when you go older, you think, I was doing all that kind of shit. It's weird. Like,
you don't realise, do you?
Yeah, but like renting out the cassettes, that's like say Blockbuster would do that.
Daft little things like that.
I can't believe Blockbuster was actually a thing though. Because was there one in Warwick Bridge back in the day?
There used to be one on top of Warwick Road. I don't know if there's one in Warwick Bridge.
I can't remember.
But it went
20 odd years ago.
Was it Netflix used to send them out? Some DVDs.
Yeah, well, I think Netflix tried to buy Blockbuster at one point as well. And Blockbuster were like, what are you on about? And then they've obviously gone bankrupt or non-existent anymore on Netflix.
Yeah, because nobody, you stream everything now.
You pay literally 10, £15 a month and you got everything you could possibly want. It's crazy. Yeah. So how did the flooring business go then when you found you said you found the niche and then setting up a business for the first time? I bet that was the challenge, was it? Or
not really a challenge.
No.
Like I say, it was, to be honest, it was quite easy because I had no competition.
Yeah.
I was literally the only person doing it.
In Carlisle or Cumbria or north and south in Scotland?
It was mostly Carlisle and West Cumbria, a lot in West Cumbria, a few across the northeast. And then there was a few more people got into it. And then I started bringing containers of it in from China and selling that.
What was that like back then? Because I'd imagine communication was a lot more difficult, is it, than it would be now, just like email and texting, WhatsApping, whatever?
Well, it was still all done on email or Skype then. Skype. So we used to do it all via Skype. It wasn't difficult, to be honest. No.
How did you know what to do though?
Just get on with it. Just try it. If it doesn't work, you lose a bit of money.
Yeah.
But basically, it wasn't difficult. You'd contact them, get your samples, and then say, I started off with a couple of pallets. So I brought a couple of pallets over because you can get pallets delivered from China on a container. You just pay for the pallet space. Costs a bit more, obviously. And then when that went all right, I then just started bringing containers in.
It kind of went from there.
Yeah.
Why do you think people weren't doing the flooring then back then?
It was something new. Wood flooring was new because it was China had just started to manufacture it. So most of it was manufactured in France and places like that, and it was ridiculously expensive. So when the Chinese obviously got wind of that, they started making the stuff, and then it just became so much cheaper.
Yeah.
I think that was the main thing. It was like everybody had laminate in the day, and then it kind of just went to solids, and then it changed to engineered, and it's probably mixed now, engineered and laminate again, I would say, and Carney type stuff.
Yeah.
That's changed.
And then how did that progress into the watches?
Well, so the flooring progressed on to doing commercial flooring. So I stopped doing the wood flooring because, again, when more and more people get into it, you've got to get out the market because
saturated.
Yeah, you work for peanuts.
Just a race to the bottom, isn't it? I'd imagine.
Yeah, it's like most things, to be honest. But I did have the contract to do all the Edinburgh Woolen Mill floors, which was a big contract. But obviously, it was all their shops. There were about 1,000 shops at the time. But when COVID hit, that was it. Work just stopped. It was like just dried up completely because there was no shops getting open. Yeah. In fact, it was the opposite. There were selling shops. So it was, what do I do now? Is do I retire because I've got a few properties that do all right, or I just fell into it, to be honest with you. I've always liked my watches, and I kind of just fell into it. I bought one, sold it, and it just kind of grew from that.
What was the first watch you bought?
The first one I bought for myself was an Explorer 2 Polar. And then the first Rolex I bought to sell was a little Explorer 36. Just bought it at auction. I sold that, made a few quid, and then did it again, and then just kind of started stocking up, and where we are now.
How's that kind of progressing in the last couple of years? Because obviously it's kind of changed massively, isn't it? Like say from just selling a couple of watches here and there to now having the office in Glasgow.
Yeah, it's changed. It has changed the last couple of years. Obviously, when I got into it, we were in the hype where it was easy. I'll be honest with you, it was easy to buy and sell watches. Now, obviously, they're a lot cheaper, the watches. You know, I'm not saying that when it's crashed, the prices have crashed. Let's be honest. So it's a lot. I wouldn't say it's harder now. I'll say we're selling more, but the margins aren't as big, and it's a bit more difficult to get stock at the moment. That's what we're finding. You know, you've really got to search around for your stock, whereas before it was easy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because then you told me the funny story about how you bought your first watch with the Tesco watches.
Yeah, that was my first Rolex. Yeah, that was when you just walk into a Rolex. That was
tell everyone what that is. I think that's funny.
Yeah, so that was 2012. I walked into Rolex, and you could just buy a watch. You know, you didn't have to put on a wait list or anything like that. And I actually paid with Tesco vouchers. You know, just because I was buying a lot of flooring, you see. So I used to have a ridiculous amount of vouchers, ridiculous amount of money on the Tesco vouchers, and you could buy all sorts then with it. Now, if you walk in with Tesco vouchers to try and buy a Rolex, you'll get laughed at. You know, but you get laughed at if you just want to buy a Rolex. Don't buy with Tesco vouchers.
Because I remember my dad, he booked holidays with Tesco vouchers.
Yeah. We've had numerous cruises. All sorts. You used to be able to get DFS. I think it was DFS.
Got sofas and stuff.
Sofas. I've had so many holidays. It's not like that now. It's not worth having now. But then it was really good.
Why was that then? Because like these days, I just got a Nectar card the other day, and you literally spend money and you get pennies.
Nothing.
You save a little bit in the shop, but you don't get anything back for it.
You get you get pennies now. I don't know. Maybe it's just too expensive for them, you know.
Well, definitely give
that's the thing.
Rolex and go on holiday
and cruises and things like that. But it was I think we had about 4 cruises on them.
That's mental, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
So then, how did you sell your first watch? And was it just to a friend or a family member, or was it?
I don't remember, to be honest with you.
No.
I think it was on Facebook.
What, you just posted it on Facebook?
Yeah, I think so. I think I put it on Facebook, and then I just started. Yeah, it was Facebook, and then started advertising. Obviously, did Instagram and that type of thing.
Cool.
And it's just grown from there.
And when did you get the first office? When did you think you were ready to take that?
We got our first office, I would say, about 2.5 years ago now.
Yeah.
We've been in this one for 6 months, 7 months, a bit longer. But yeah, about 2 years. It didn't, to be honest, it didn't take long before we kind of sussed that we needed an office.
Yeah.
You know, it brings you so much working compared to going out and meeting people in a coffee shop or something like that. People much rather come into an office and bring their watch in. It's much safer as well. So it didn't take long. Once we'd had a few, so that was it. We were like,
because that's the thing with Rolexes and watches being so high value and high ticket, isn't it?
Yeah.
It is just like coming into comfortable spaces near having a drink, whatever.
Yeah. And the thing is as well, you know, we've got the safes here. You don't want to keep watches at home. You don't want to have Rolexes sitting at home. So it works out, you know, by the time, you know, if we didn't have an office and we'd have to put it into like the vaults, and then we'd have to hire an office every time we met somebody, or you'd have to go out to the vault to get your. It's just a nightmare, and you wouldn't save that much money, to be honest with you.
No.
So that's why we just it's there. So the watches go in the office. It's alarmed. It's insured. You lock up at night. If anything happens, you know, it's not affecting you at home. You know.
I just think it was dodgy if I was like buying or selling a watch off somebody and say, "Oh, meet me at like Starbucks, something, meet me at Costa." And even if you're like wiring the money or you're giving them cash, and you just think anything could literally happen.
Yeah, it could be. I mean, and it does. It happens to people all the time. You know, we know a few people that have been done. I mean, for us, obviously, we've got to do our checks on that watch. So you've got to come in. You know, we take the back off. You know, we check it all out properly. You can't do that in a Costa. And then the fakes are getting that good now. That,
imagine taking that machine.
Yeah, exactly. You know, and, you know, the fakes are so good now that you got to take the back off. You know, to be 100% sure, you got to take the back off.
Yeah. Because do you reckon that's the best way to check just the movement? If you take the back off and check the movement,
it's not. Well, it's the best way to check. I mean, the problem you have is there's more checks to do because we're coming across watches now. They've got real movements but fake dials.
Okay.
So they might change a black dial submariner into a Hulk. So everything's real apart from the dial and the bezel. Yeah. So you've got to be really, really careful. Yeah.
People go to so extensive lengths, don't they, to try and just do it. It's crazy.
Yeah.
So it's so much money.
Yeah. I mean, if you're talking about a difference there of £5,000, £6,000. So I mean, I do know a dealer who got stung. He bought in a Hulk thinking it was a Hulk, and it wasn't. It was black sub, and it was a fake dial, fake bezel. Shit. Yeah. But the thing, if you've got paper, if you've got the cards, then it's a lot more difficult to do that because obviously it's a different reference number. So that's another thing with Hulks, Daytonas. Always need the card and the white tag because a white tag will tell you the colour dial. If you're taking in a Daytona or a Hulk naked, as we say, then you're risking it.
Better to be safe than sorry.
Yeah. I wouldn't take one in personally.
No. What have been some say the most popular kind of watches you stock and sell over the last couple of years? Has it changed, or has it always been the same? Or?
Yeah, I would say it's always subs and GMTs are always popular.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously in the hype everything was popular, but now GMTs these last 2 or 3 months have been definitely the watch.
What do you think? The £8,000 to £16,000 price range is probably the most accessible to people? Or?
I would say probably cheap. I think 16 is a lot of money. But you can get a lot of watch for that as well. You can get brand new GMTs for 16 on the market. I would say, 10 grand and under is quite a buoyant market at the moment.
Yeah. It's like them zombies, 15, 16 grand.
Yeah,
I think that's quite a lot. That's
a lot. Value, it is. I mean, that's just over retail.
Yeah.
You've got a gold watch there. It's good value for money.
But I think there's 2 kinds of people who buy the watches, isn't it? It's the ones who buy it for to park some money or an investment and hopefully it'll increase over time, which it will, or the ones who just buy one to flex it, isn't it? And be like... The ones that buy it, flex it, normally come back in a few months and change it. It's like, I don't like it, I want something else, right? Okay. Which is great for us. Yeah.
But there's a lot of people who are just parking money. Especially, tradies who have got cash and want somewhere to put the cash, buy a watch, stick in the safe 2 or 3 years' time. They might wear it and then they're going to make their money back and more, Yeah. So, you do get that a lot.
I suppose it's just a good way to diversify assets and stuff rather than just having
it is.
Kind of
It's just something different. It's something you can enjoy, isn't it? You could put it away in an ISA or whatever. And yes, you probably will make more in an ISA short term, but long term, you probably make more in a watch. And you can actually wear your watch and enjoy your watch.
What's the biggest loss you've had in a watch that you want to share?
£12,000 was the biggest loss I've ever taken on a watch. Yeah, that was a killer. That was after the hype. So, any dealer that tells you that they haven't made mistakes or bought watches and not lost, it's just telling lies, to be honest with you. During the hype, we were buying watches and selling them the next week and making money. But unfortunately, it was always going to drop at some point, and whatever you had in hand at the time, you were going to get stung. It's simple as that. That's business, isn't it? But that was a bad one. I hung on to it too long. That's a lesson learned. That it's just if you need to, just take a loss rather than compound the loss.
Yeah. I think people will see the watch dealers and watch world and think, oh, it's sort of glamorous and making money, and if you sell a watch for 10 grand, you're going to make 10 grand. That's definitely not the case, isn't it? And there is the other side of it where it is hard work and there is money to be made, but it's definitely money that people can lose in quite a significant amount, isn't it, if you don't know what you're doing?
I'll be honest, it's like any business, you get out of it what you put into it. If you sit there and do 1 post a day and think it's going to sell watches, it's not happening, No word of a lie. And I'm not exaggerating. I'm on it from 6:30 in the morning till 10, 11 o'clock at night. I mean, yes, we're not, I'm not necessarily in the office all day, or it's not physical graft, but you're on your phone constantly looking for deals, trying to find watches. Because the biggest thing is you get up in the morning, look through your messages, you might have people from the night before asking for stuff. So you try and find them during the day, and it's on a night that then your customers, when they finish work, start to contact you. So you kind of do all your dealings with your dealers during the day, and then on the night, it's all your customers.
Yeah.
Watches, have you got this, have you got that? It's generally non-stop. Even when you go on holiday, you can't stop. If you stop a week, it takes you a week to get going again. You lost 2 weeks sales.
Yeah. I suppose then it's, you've got the beauty of being able to travel as well, can't you? So like if you're away, you can still do the messages and say, I'm back next week, I'll come meet you next week. And
exactly.
Good flexibility and work-life balance if you put the work in at the same time.
Yeah, you've got to put the work in. But I mean, I could literally sit in front of the telly all day working, which is great. But even like say when you go away, you can't just rest on your laurels. You can't do nothing. You've got to be on it. You've got to be posting. You've got to be getting your name out there, the watches out there you've got. It does slow down when you're away, of course, but you've just got to try and tick over until you get back.
It's a consistency, isn't it? Like you say, if you post it on the story, isn't it? Like what watches you got in stock, what watches you sold, and that kind of thing, to just keep on showing people, because people are busy out there. They might see it and think, oh, yeah, I'm interested in that, but then they have to feed the kids or they have to go to work, and then see it in the evening or next day, and like, you've got to be posting all the time. And obviously, if you just put your watch on 1 day a week, somebody might not see it that day that wants to see it. So if you put it on every single day, you're going to catch everybody who wants to see it. Exactly.
That's the difference. But it does take a lot of time.
Yeah, time, energy, and effort, isn't it?
Yeah.
So what have you got planned then moving forward? Do you think anything exciting in the pipeline?
Yeah, we're looking at. Obviously, just done the new website with yourself. We're looking at advertising that a bit more. I'm going to look at it to get some finance options.
I think that would be good, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I mean, the one person I know that did it, you reckon his sales went up by 40%, which is a lot.
Even if it went up like 15,
yeah, I mean,
10% or whatever,
if it goes up 2 or 3 watches a month, then
you'd be laughing.
It's well worth it, isn't it?
Because would you have to be FCA regulated for that?
Yeah, well, I don't know. I've got a friend of mine. I'm not sure. He might have a finance. He's got a lot of companies. So I'm meeting him in a couple of weeks, and he's going to talk me through it. He owns Edinburgh Wool Mill. Yeah. He knows everything about what's to know. So I'm going to sit down with him, thrash it out, and see if we get it sorted, and try and get that done as soon as possible.
I think that opens a whole new realm, doesn't it, and opportunities and that side of things. Because we were speaking earlier, weren't we? And I think a lot of people would probably go for that option.
Yeah, I think they would. I mean, I get asked a couple of times a week for finance, and I think not many people offer it in the watch world. So if you do offer finance, if you could turn those couple of, even just without advertising that we offer finance, we're getting asked. So if you get 2 people asking, if you can turn them 2 or 3 people a week into sales, that's going to...
They'll tell their friends. So, yeah. That's, I mean, if you can increase, I've said 40, even if it's 10 or 20%, that's massive, isn't it? Yeah.
That's a difference.
I think that would be very, very cool. So, you have to keep an eye out for that. So, where can people probably find you, get in contact, plug all this stuff?
We're everywhere, obviously, thanks to yourself. Insta, Facebook, website. What else have we got going? TikTok.
Yep. Yeah, all them good stuff.
Yeah.
And any closing thoughts, anything you want to say?
Keep up the good work, Adam.
Thank you. Well, apparently you were saying good words to me before I came in this morning.
I always speak very highly.
Just onto my face. So everybody, if you're watching on YouTube, make sure to like the video, subscribe, comment your favourite part. Any questions for Scott, leave them in the comment section below. If you listen on Spotify or Apple, follow the podcast, leave a 5-star review, and we'll see you next time. Bye.